The final men's national team game of 2024 at Hampden Park, yet to yield a Scotland victory. But there's plenty to play for in the UEFA Nations League for both Scotland and Croatia. And that will come all the way through to Craig Gordon, and delighted to say alongside me is former Scotland international Michael Stewart. And Michael, I mean, the scenarios for Scotland aren't great, but this campaign so far, they really have stood up to the task of these top nations with perhaps not getting the reward yet.
Look, I don't think there's any question that the performances have been very good, but ultimately the results have not reflected that, and we're at the stage now where the results are desperately needed, not just for the confidence, but also, as you were pointing out, the impact it has on the World Cup qualifications that are going to be coming up very shortly, and the seeding that we can potentially have. So if we can put forward another performance like we've had, but hopefully we can get the result to match this time.
What do you make of that big call? I think most probably pretty surprised that Tommy Conway gets the nod to start up front. Lyndon Dykes or Lawrence Shanklin, the two more experienced centre forwards on the bench.
Yeah, but I think this campaign you've started to see Steve Clarke open to and looking to try to introduce some fresh blood into the team, and obviously Che Adams is not there, and with Lawrence Shanklin and Lyndon Dykes not exactly firing on all cylinders for the clubs at the moment, Tommy Conway, he brings something different. He's got real pace, he's athletic, and that's something these youngsters like Ben Doak there have brought to the team. And the two of them are in fine form for Middlesbrough as well, so perhaps Steve Clarke's just looking at that link up the two have for their club as well.
And Tommy Conway with 5 goals in 11 games in the Championship for Middlesbrough, including 3 in the last 4. And Ben Doak's performances on the wing for Middlesbrough, on loan from Liverpool, have been central to them looking to get in amongst the playoff spots. And in fact, Ben Doak winning his 5th cap this evening, and only Paul McStay and Willie Henderson have won more caps as teenagers for Scotland. McTominay almost breaking through. He will again play that advanced role from the midfield as a 10 just behind Conway. And he's been in such good goal-scoring form, continuing what he does with the national team into Serie A since his move to Napoli. There's John Souttar out to Anthony Ralston. Billy Gilmore playing in the centre midfield alongside Kenny McLean. It's becoming a tried and tested partnership in this Nations League campaign. Andy Robertson, the skipper, finds Gilmore. McLean, he's given that straight away. It's Andrej Kramaric look to punish the misplaced pass from Kenny McLean, who holds up his hand in apology.
There's loads of space there for Kenny McLean to turn and go forward. I'm not even sure, you know, where it was he was looking to try to play the ball. Obviously, as you said, he recognises straight away, but that's just something that you cannot afford to do. The position we find ourselves in terms of what we're talking about, the performance is good, but the result's not where we want them to be. You can't be going presenting top-class opponents with opportunities like that. Fortunately, Kramaric wasn't able to hit the target there, but get away with one. You don't want to be doing it again, that's for certain.
No, and as we've seen throughout this long winless run, those are the moments at this level that do get punished more often than not. So Scotland get away with one there.
The thing is, Rory, the performances, there's a big reason why they've been so positive is that in the middle of the park, Billy Gilmore in particular, building the game and playing forward, constantly looking to get the ball into those forward areas in a good composed fashion, but looking to play a safe pass like that sometimes really is a dangerous one.
Grant Hanley comes across, then Kenny McLean snaps into the challenge. Now Billy Gilmore, he loses out to Mateo Kovacic. Baturuna onto Kramaric, looking for another shooting opportunity, or in fact to set up a teammate, and over the top it goes. It's a great chance for Croatia. 5 minutes in, Luka Sucic knocks it well over the top.
Yeah, you can see Billy Gilmore driving forward here. I don't think it was a free kick. You can see there's a very, very good tackle there. And then Kramaric picking out into the middle, slipped onto Sucic, and on his favoured left foot there, you expect him to be hitting the target and testing Craig Gordon, but again, slightly fortunate there for Scotland that a mistake, a turnover in the middle of the park, and we've got away with one.
Croatia had a bit of a thriller in their last game, 3-3 away to Poland in Warsaw, where Scotland travelled to on Monday, but Zlatko Dalic's side were 3-1 up. Was conceded on half-time to make it 3-2, and then had Dominik Livakovic sent off late on.
But carrying on that theme, you know, in terms of the Nations League so far, the Zagreb last month, Scotland were good, large chunks of the game, very positive, and then, of course, the last kick of the ball effectively, where the ball ends up in the back of the net, but Adams not getting the goal, and that was one that, when you start to look at the shake-up of the league table as a whole, that would have been a big one for Scotland. You know, a second point, but it's taking the points off of Croatia and making them a little bit more attainable catching.
It's given away by Ben Doak straight to Mateo Kovacic. I think when this group does come to a close on Monday, and wherever Scotland do finish up, certainly points have evaporated, and particularly the one that will stand out will be that opening game against Poland, where they gave the visitors a 2-goal lead before coming back into it, and at that stage Scotland looked favourites before a stoppage time penalty took the points back home for Poland. Chaleta Tsar played in Glasgow recently with Olympique Lyonnais in the Europa League against Rangers. This is Dominik Kotarski, who plays his football with PAOK. And he's only managed 45 minutes in a friendly against Egypt in March previously. It was actually Nedeljko Labrovic who came on for the final 9 minutes once Livakovic was sent off in Warsaw. But the nod given to the 24-year-old Kotarski.
Well, we've not really been able to slip into a rhythm so far, Scotland. Croatia have been able to dominate the ball. They've reverted to a back four here. In Zagreb, they had the back three, and that near side for us, with Ben Doak being able to get a bit of space and going and attacking Guardiol. It was a real positive, whereas now he's sitting out here a little bit closer to Ben Doak. It'll be interesting to see if he gets space like this, if he can go and really get on the front foot.
Opting to look inside to Gilmore. It was a really good battle over in Zagreb between Doak and Guardiol, but it's been given away, and now coming forward in numbers come Croatia. It's Andrej Kramaric once again, and Craig Gordon just got his studs to that one. He looked wrong-footed. Scotland looked exposed there as Croatia broke, and Craig Gordon with a vital touch to knock it wide.
Well, all of his size 14 feet were needed there, I tell you. Right through the defenders like that is an incredible save. It really is, because he's going the other way. It's a great bit of striker play. And Craig Gordon with a boot onto the post. Perfect striker play, dipping inside and then reversing it through the defender's legs.
It's a really good challenge as well from the skipper Andy Robertson. Now Doak, and Scotland just need to be a little bit more protective of the ball than they have been in the opening 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's another occasion where we've been exposed. Croatia have been able to counter quickly. This time, Craig Gordon was very much tested and came up with the answers, thankfully. It's not been a great start for Scotland so far. And the last thing we need is to be falling behind as well. Just try to soak up a bit of pressure at the moment. See ourselves through this early pressure.
Chutalo finding his goalkeeper, and now Chileta Tsar. Let's go Gvardiol of Manchester City.
So it just looks like we're not totally sure of how we're pressing as a team against the back four here. See Conway and McTominay. They're trying to get that communication right as it's sliding across from centre-half to centre-half. Tommy Conway's trying to make that dogged run, and McTominay sitting on Kovacevic there. And the big thing for Scotland when we've been at our best is we've, as a unit, been right up on top of the team. You could see just the last pass there, Kenny McLean was promoting himself forward. You need to try to get that pressure as a collective unit higher up the park, closing down the fullbacks as well. You see Conway just trying to shut the game down one side, but Croatia easily spinning it out to the near side now, and the game's just opening up and we're chasing. We're not getting tight enough.
So across comes John Souttar, presents that to Billy Gilmore, and now Tommy Conway looking to get that run in behind, but Chutalo covering that, and Kotarski coming under pressure, but the Croatians remain calm at the back between Kotarski, Chileta Tsar and Jakic, and now Modric can take over. That one will go out of play, but there was a late contact that leads to the free kick on Petr Sucic.
Yes, Grant Hanley just try to step forward and get the block. You can see clatters into Sucic there. He's taking a... Well, in fact, it's not him that's gone down, though.
It's Jakic, I think, that is down on the far side.
It's a separate incident. I'm not sure what's happened with the right back, Jakic. Holding his right knee there. I didn't see anything, Rory. I'm not sure about yourself.
As a player who's just coming in for his 8th cap. Plays his football in Germany with Augsburg.
You see at times, obviously, with it's like for like across the the two teams, but the problem is with their two sitting midfielders with Modric and Kovacevic, the difficulty is we've got two sitting as well, and which one's going to go up and help to try to press. They've only got Sucic as a 10, but we've got Gilmore and McLean in there. We need to try to figure out how we're getting up. As I said, there's that collective unit to get pressure higher up the park, because if Modric and Kovacevic have any time on the ball, they're going to dictate the game and they're going to pick us off.
It's Baturina to Kovacevic. Chutalo, Modric was so easy on the ball, and was just caught by Scott McTominay. Back on with things quickly enough. Modric linking with Gvardiol. Will the break of the ball come for the left back? Not quite, because John Souttar was alert to the danger.
He's been good this season so far, John Souttar. Good to see him getting a real run of games, being a commanding figure defensively.
Luka Sucic can't get that past Andy Robertson at the front post. Drop on the edge, and Modric. Sucic, it's a decent ball in, but again, John Souttar well placed. And still Croatia can look to build another opportunity. Look at Modric to float that one over to the far side. Ryan Christie manages to get a touch before Andrej Kramaric. Croatia maintaining the tempo and also the possession of the ball. Gvardiol, if he can catch that, which he can. He's away from Doak. Gvardiol, and it's knocked out by Ralston. Another Croatia corner, and the pressure is mounting.
Yeah, pressure is very much mounting. Scotland have just got to try and keep their wits about them. Don't allow themselves to crumble under the pressure here. You imagine at some stage in the game we're going to be able to get ourselves on the ball and build a bit of momentum, but at the moment, key thing is just to be fully concentrated defensively, because we're very much on the back foot.
Such again does find a Croatian head. It's kept alive by Cutalo. Clipped back into the middle. Chaleta Tsar with the header back across, and now Doak looking to counter for Scotland, but Modric wins it. No way out for Scotland at the moment. Baturina and Modric. Baturina runs out of room. I think that was out before he managed to deliver the cross from Martin Baturina, who is one of the domestic players, 21-year-old with Dinamo Zagreb. They've been doing some pretty good things in the Champions League this year. They'll face Celtic in about a month's time. Modric is given away again by Scotland. Here's Kramaric and Sucic. Will come to Jakic and now Kovacic. Well, high percentage numbers of possession for Croatia in these opening exchanges. Scotland can't get a sustained spell of possession at the moment.
No, we're struggling to get two passes strung together. It's literally clearing the lines and coming right back at us.
Modric with the ball forward, Petar Sucic, and again Suter the man across to make life difficult.
Well, it's hard work. Sorry, Rory, I was just going to say it's very hard work for the team collectively, but also for primarily for the guys at the back there. They've got to be really switched on. John Suter reading the situation well there, just to snuff out any danger. Steve Clarke got a lot of thinking to do here and trying to get the message across to the team how they can work themselves into it. Just got to try and take a little bit of heat out of the game when they can and show that composure. Got to keep looking for the ball, got to keep looking to pass, because there's no point in just clearing lines.
Tommy Conway comes short. Doak beats Gvardiol. Conway was taken out of it. Doak now to look for a teammate, and the strike from McTominay as Scotland burst into life. Well saved by Kotarski, but that's more like it from Scotland.
Well, it's a free kick here on Tommy Conway, and an absolute class from Ben Doak, and he sees McTominay on the edge of the box, great layoff and a brilliant strike. McTominay got plenty behind it there. Dominic Kotarski getting called into action, and all of a sudden the crowd get right behind the team.
Ryan Christie to take the corner kick for Scotland. Christie's ball in towards that front post. He'll get another attempt from the angle. It was towards McTominay. Hanley's on the back post, and that did get a touch, so there will be another corner.
Yeah, Tuttle, you can see getting the touch just in front of some real pressure from Scott McTominay. Incredible how football can just turn on its head.
Well, and how the atmosphere in this side Hampden Park can turn as well. It's completely swung. Billy Gilmore will now take this corner. Scotland exerting a bit of pressure of their own. It's away by Gvardiol, and it was into a really good area. Now Ralston. McLean. McLean's ball in, and that was swinging in this blustery wind, making life very difficult for the defence.
Yeah, it's good ball from Ken McLean. Not a lot of backlift there, but he got into a dangerous area. Chaleta Tsar having to clear one under pressure this time.
Christie again towards Hanley at the back post, but unable to get a connection on it, and certainly a much better spell this from Scotland.
I mean, look at this. Brilliant play from Ben Doak. Guardiola left for dead. It's a good strike from McTominay, but you could just see there, if he'd set it maybe a yard or so outside the post, it would have been right in the corner. But good play, lifts the whole crowd, lifts the team as whole as well. And the confidence will start to come back into the team just from that one moment of inventive play from this guy on the ball, Ben Doak.
Gilmore had it, finds Christie. Hanley, who's certainly been struggling for minutes with his club side Norwich City. He's played more than double the minutes for Scotland than he has in the Championship.
You can see here again, this is the area of the park. I said it before, in Zagreb there was a real battle and Ben Doak got the better of Guardiola on a number of occasions. He was playing that left-sided centre half of the three before, whereas now he's the left back, but still definitely the area of park we've got to look to try to exploit.
A teenager winning his 5th cap, looking to be Scotland's main route to goal against somebody considered to be one of the best defenders in the world, and certainly one of the most expensive since he signed for Manchester City from RB Leipzig. It's a Croatian squad full of quality, as expected.
But that's where you look at a balanced team. You know, now with the likes of Doak in it, with the pace and the inventiveness, brings a bit of pizzazz to the Scotland team.
Suter looks for a bit more of the direct route, but that will be gobbled up by Josip Šutalo. Very much an improvement in the last 5 minutes or so from Steve Clarke's side. Vardiol, and he gets his own back on Ben Doak there with the nutmeg. This is Modric. The outside of the boot up to Kramaric. Back it comes to the magician in the middle of the park. Modric with the great ball out to Jakic. Sucic delivers that to Baturina. He got the effort on goal, straight at Craig Gordon.
I just wonder with the blustery wind, Rory, whether this is actually offside, so it wouldn't have counted anyway, but whether it was playing tricks with Baturina there, because he never looked really convinced that he was going to do anything with it.
Gilmore wins it back, but then gives it away again. Baturina looking to get that in on his right foot. It's Suter with the block. Modric keeps it alive. Sucic, Baturina and Kovacic. That's a very congested edge of the Scotland area. Kramaric shows too much of that to McTominay, and there's Gilmore. Gordon to blast it clear, but not far enough. The wind really is swirling around the ground. Luka Modric out to Christian Jakic. Modric. Sure, he's not lost the fight for a scrap as well. I mean, it must be so good just to have somebody like Luka Modric in your team. He's always free, even if you give a pass to him under pressure. His first touch is immaculate. He's just got a brilliant picture of the game around him.
Hence why he's still playing at 39.
And at the very top level.
Exactly, because of all those attributes. He sees the game. His brain's as quick as it has ever been.
Jakic looking to take on Robertson. Swung in with pace all the way across the goal. It did get a touch on its way. Croatia are claiming the corner kick, but the officials disagree.
Well, it certainly looked a little bit strange, the flight, as if it did take a deflection. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, I think perhaps was it Ryan Christie that was closing him down that maybe just nicked off. And you can always tell as well. I mean, it was literally the guys that were all round the ball claiming for it. You can tell from their reaction.
Could have been a helpful touch as well, because Andrej Kramaric was arriving at that back post looking for a finishing opportunity.
Yeah, we're just struggling there a little bit. We're getting forced into playing that longer ball. The ball was going out to Andy Robertson. Kenny McLean's got to get over there quicker and give that offer in the middle. This will give us a better angle of the deflection, yet you can see quite clearly there coming off of Ryan Christie's boot.
Otherwise, it could well have been a shot on target. Here goes Martin Baturina. Again, looks for Luka Modric. Luka Sucic. Baturina taking up a good position outside the box. Vardiol ahead of him.
I just wonder whether Steve Clarke, it's not a system that we've deployed before, but it's just a slight tweak, whether we get somebody to play up alongside Scott McTominay who can pick up Luka Modric, leave Billy Gilmour sitting in there, and then 2 8s in front of him, like a John McGinn, for example, who could get on Luka Modric.
Here's Doak, who's away from Modric. He's got McLean inside. Conway's on the move. Conway gets it back from McLean now, and just the momentum taken out of the attack a little bit, but Scotland can build again. Conway's done well there. Scott McTominay. Robertson's looking to make his move. McTominay just couldn't quite find the moment to release him. Hanley too. I mean, Robertson must have false started his run 3 or 4 times there, looking to get played in down the left-hand side.
Yeah, it just wasn't there. The opening wasn't there, but good composure here from Scotland just to move the ball around again, come out this other side, let Ben Doak have a 1v1.
He just wants to take on Gvardiol all day long, does Ben Doak.
I think he should just drop the shoulder and hit the byline there.
McTominay, no, that was the moment to try and release Andy Robertson. Didn't quite get the pass right though.
Even though we're approaching the half-hour mark and it's not been a fantastic opening for Scotland, what it has shown is though that we're still very much capable of going and hurting Croatia here. And of course, they've shown the qualities that you come to expect.
Modric forward, Robertson missed it, Hanley behind him. That was an important one to win for Grant Hanley. Christie though gives it up. This is Kovacic, and out wide for Luka Sucic. Kramaric ahead of him, across comes John Suter. He read that so well, anticipated where the danger was.
Absolutely brilliant defending. You could just see it unfolding up here, the gantry, and you notice John Suter on point, perfect. You know, for somebody that you'd look at it in terms of as quite a technical player when he was growing up and you felt like he had a mistake in him, he's always been somebody that reads the game very well, developed into a top-class centre-half.
Only winning his 11th cap, John Suter, but 3 starts in a row. It's good to see. Amazing to think back to that time when Andy Robertson and John Suter and Ryan Gauld were coming through that Dundee United side. Of course, Gauld just making it into the international setup as Petar Sucic is yellow carded.
You can add Stuart Armstrong to that group as well, obviously. just a little bit of a sore one. I think he got the knee just in his lower back there, Billy Gilmore.
So Petar Sucic will miss the game on Monday night against Portugal. 2 yellow cards is all it takes in this Nations League to miss a game.
But you see there, Luka Modric getting right up on Billy Gilmore. So out of possession, they're promoting forward to shut us down. We're not doing that yet, and it's causing us some real problems. In possession, Modric dropping right off to get on the ball, but out of possession, you look at that, look at the pressure that's been applied. If they sat in the 2 sitters, it would give us more space to play, and of course they don't want that. Luka Modric is getting himself right up on top. He's almost got a free rein to go and pick up the space wherever he feels, and you can just see him coming into your picture now, just in between the midfield and the defence, and eventually he'll drift into a pocket of space and they'll get him on the ball.
Kotarski with too much on that, out to Jakic. Crowd were sensing a quick opportunity going forward. Scotland electing to try to dictate some possession now. Scott McTominay, lofted ball out, looking for Doak, who can take it on the chest. Just a little stumble, but he's back in control. Gets turned and driving at the defence. Ralston outside him to deliver. Ralston, McTominay with the contact. Robertson gets there, and well, I think Kenny McLean was always off balance before hitting that, perhaps leaning back a little.
Yeah, it was a very difficult one. Ball came to him very quickly. His feet were probably set. But I tell you, down this near side, Ben Doak has very much got Gvardiol on edge. You can see as soon as he picks that ball up, he's apprehensive. He needs to just keep going and committing and taking him on. You know, he likes to cut in on that left foot on occasions, but if he goes and hits that byline, it looked as if he was going to drive into the penalty box there at one point as well. He's got the better of him in terms of the pace. He just needs to really believe in it and go and commit.
Straight from Gilletta Sarr to Steve Clark. Still got his first touch, the Scotland boss. Did enjoy a few caps himself during his playing days.
We're struggling just to get that penetrative ball from the midfield forward, or when Grant Hanley's picking this ball up. There's not an obvious, you see here, turnover, slack.
Loose pass from Hanley, looking for Christie. Scotland need to get numbers back here. They have so far, but Kovacic keeps it alive for Baturina. Back it comes to Sucic, and out from Kovacic. Jakic gets the, or Sucic rather, gets the overlap from Modric, and Andy Robertson closes down that opportunity.
You know, Croatia are doing well, but it's not. I think it's primarily more to do with us just not getting into the positions well enough, and also I think perhaps a little bit of a nervousness from the opening stages of the game. But I don't think we're doing enough to show and help our teammate that's on the ball. Grant Hanley on a number of occasions on that left-hand side when he's picked up the ball, he's not had an obvious pass for him to go and play forward. It's forced them back infield across the edge of the box. Croatia are really dictating even when we're in possession.
Look at Modric, can only find Andy Robertson at the front post, but the drive, oh, was hit with ferocious power from Luka Sucic. What a connection on that. Gordon comes out again. Gilletta Sarr wins it, and then Craig Gordon, all action in goals for Scotland. Talked about Luka Modric at the age of 39. There's 41-year-old Craig Gordon winning his 78th cap.
Looks like he's taking up volleyball. First of all, the strike here from Sucic. Plenty of action for Craig Gordon. Quite unorthodox, but in the end, exactly what you want to see. Crowded box, plenty of players around. The ball comes in and the goalkeeper gets his 2 hands on it and smothers it.
Craig Gordon moves above Alex McLeish this evening onto 78 caps. Andy Robertson onto 79, one behind Darren Fletcher, who is third on the all-time list on 80 caps. Just Jim Leighton and Kenny Dalglish above him. Andy Robertson is soon to be in that company. Craig Gordon, of course, thought that was all going to be coming to an end as an international goalkeeper with that game against Finland here, and not the way he would have wanted to go out, coming on for the final few minutes and giving away a penalty. But he's had the opportunity to win back that #1 jersey for the national team. Doak asks a lot of Ralston, and Chileta Tsar is able to come across. It's a good ball out from the defender.
Just checked his run for a split second there, Ralston, and then it became an impossible ball really, but far better play from Scotland there. Ryan Christie taking up a nice position in behind their midfield. Just need that little bit of more movement. You can see Christie in there again. Better movement from the midfield from McLean and Gilmore, moving out the space, and then the three that are in behind the striker just dropping in and picking the ball up a little bit better.
Loose pass though from Christie. He just moved into that central role in these last few minutes, where he has been playing with Bournemouth in the Premier League. Ralston tight on the back of Petr Sucic. Modric, Baturina given away, and Kenny McLean's frustrated that he couldn't do anything with that interception.
But it was better. Good, you know, the team working as a unit there. Scott McTominay couldn't get tight enough originally, but the pressure from Gilmore, and then Kenny McLean coming in to nick it away.
Variol made about 15 yards in the position he took that throw in from. The referee quite happy for it to continue. John McGinn and Stuart Armstrong waiting in the wings. Plenty of international experience between them. Both over 50 caps. And the offside flag does go up. A communication breakdown. Needs a bib, that guy, doesn't he?
I think he's got a wee bit in his spawn for later.
Certainly one battle there that Doak may struggle to win against Gvardiol. Although Doak does have some good body strength to him. Height-wise, Gvardiol will tower above him. Suter comes forward, neat first touch.
Yeah, he's claiming a deflection, but it's not gone out yet.
It's well played by Chutalo. And then from Chileta Tsar to Baturina, and now the race on between Robertson and Sucic. It's Luka Sucic. Andrej Kramaric. Croatia growing from one end to the other. Kramaric, though, squeezed out, and Baturina almost with a complete swing and a miss.
Again, it's really good defending from John Suter, Rory. Not committing himself, holding his position. Kramaric, you can see he's absolutely clattered there.
Well, Nduye Chileta-Tsar is the next player to be booked, clattering into the back of Ryan Christie.
Oh, yellow card every day of the week. Chileta-Tsar catches him there with his arm right in the back of the head there for Ryan Christie. I mean, surely Luka Modric cannot be complaining with that. You look at the replay, his arm right into the back of Ryan Christie's head. I mean, that is a yellow card every day of the week. And in fact, in modern day football, he's actually probably on the verge of it being looked at for more.
I have to say,
force.
That you're absolutely correct, because if you consider what is endangering an opponent,
yep,
an elbow or forearm into the back of anyone's head,
yep,
is endangering them.
Yeah, and that's not a challenge that you know you see at times where players are going up and inevitably there can be a collision. He is running to the back of Ryan Christie with his forearm clattering the back of his head. He's fortunate there.
Ralston having to react as Gilmore. The pressure here, but Ralston finds a safe pass on, which was Suter. Now Hanley again, he's looking for that ball into the midfield that didn't arrive, and Suter has to miss out the midfielders to find Doak, who's under pressure from Gvardiol. That does win the free kick. Frustration amongst the ranks of the Croatian players. Well,
John Suter and Grant Hanley, they're just needing somebody to be in that pocket of space where sort of McTominay is just now, to be able to slide it into them. They're obviously very tight on that occasion, but that's the areas we're looking to try to get into.
Christie looking for McLean. Chutalo comes across. He's got a ball on clear to Peter Sucic, but he could only flick it on back to a navy blue jersey. Gilmore looks to dig one over the top. Conway, flag stays down for now. Conway goes down, and now the flag does go up.
You can see him just on the shoulder here. That is very close. He's obviously leaning forward, but it's very, very tight. Would it have been given as a foul? Chileta-Tsar is the one that was committing it potentially, had it not been flagged as offside.
Now Suter is caught, and already booked is Petar Sucic, who has been sent off. 43 minutes played, 2 yellow cards for Petar Sucic, and the 21-year-old on his 5th cap has been dismissed.
Well, I'd have to see the replay, Rory, but just perhaps has caught him on the top of the boot slightly late. We'll get a better view of it. It actually catches him on the knee. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that it's a foul, a yellow card. I think it was Kramaric there has been picking up a yellow card for complaining as well. But look, you know, you look at the modern game and the challenges that you just constantly get picked up for. That is one. He's coming in, his foot's a little bit high, he's late, he catches John Suter on the knee. Okay, it might not be with great force, but definitely think that can't be too many complaints, as much as obviously Luka Modric is adamant that it should never be.
Well, Luka Modric is indeed the other that has been yellow carded there, and Petar Sucic makes his way off the pitch and up the Hampden Park tunnel.
Well, you can just see there that Zlatko Dalic is just telling his side to just narrow off slightly. I think it'll be Baturina and Luka Sucic just narrowing slightly because their number 10 is off the park.
And here's Ralston Scotland looking for double punishment here. In it comes from Gilmour. They've got two over at the back post. Christie was one, Robertson the other. And Chutalo heads clear as the offside flag goes up. There'll be 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half. But that red card has certainly given a big boost to the Tartan Army.
Yeah, it has, and as a collective unit here, it potentially gives us that opportunity just to squeeze the game even more, because they've not got that player that's going to be operating in behind the midfield. So for Gilmour and McLean when Croatia have possession, we have to try and squeeze it up, try and get that pressure on Kovacevic and Modric.
This one back by Batterini. Coming back is Tommy Conway. He gives away the foul.
You see here, Batterina does really well there. You could just see Tommy Conway out the corner of his eye coming. Managed to just step and put his body in the way, get the foul.
Luka Modric will leave this free kick to Sucic. Well, and Hanley did enough. Croatia think they should have the corner, and they're certainly continuing to feel pretty hard done by the Israeli referee.
Yeah, well, that's a fair call. It comes right off of Grant Hanley.
Here comes Scotland on the charge in numbers. McTominay. Christie now. And he's really well closed down by Luka Modric. And there goes the half-time whistle, a bit to Ryan Christie's frustration, and Luka Modric and he just have a few little words and embrace between the pair, but well, the Israeli referee is the man in focus, and Zlatko Dalic not happy at all. But I think when Croatia see those images back, there can't be too many complaints, and just in those last 10 minutes of the half, they did seem to lose their discipline a little bit as Scotland came back into the game. The yellow cards mounted up. Eventually, Peter Sucic got his second, and at the break at Hampden Park, it is Scotland 0, Croatia 0.
Well, it's certainly one of these openings that you feel like we have to take advantage of, Rory. Does it change the dynamic of the game? Croatia are obviously a team that are still very capable of maintaining possession and building the game. We've got to look to, for me personally, look to try and dominate that middle of the park there. Balls like that. We didn't do enough of that in the first half, getting Scott McTominay on the half-turn, playing forward quickly. We've now got a man advantage in the middle there. Got to look to try to get a bit more dominant in the middle and try and get Scott McTominay on that ball a little bit more, running at the back line.
It's threaded through, and McTominay with a lovely touch out to Doak, and Chaleta Tsar heads it out for a corner.
And I do think that's clearly something that's been said from Steve Clarke. 2 passes there straight away inside the first minute from the midfield, straight forward into Scott McTominay's feet. And on that occasion, lovely flick round the corner for Ben Doak, and then a quick ball into the box, and all of a sudden we've got a corner out of it.
Christie takes, up goes Scott McTominay, but no danger with that. I can tell you there's been no goals in this group, League A1 so far. It's 0-0 between Portugal and Poland. Portugal leading the way in the group before this evening started. They've got 10 points, Croatia 7, Poland 4, Scotland on 1. Croatia will qualify if they win tonight, Portugal also. Luka Sucic. In goes Kenny McLean to win that back, and Andy Robertson plays it back off the Real Sociedad winger.
That was great defensive work there from Kenny McLean, getting over and helping out his captain. Ben Doak was actually still onside there. Scott McTominay looked to play it. He was right in behind Gvardiol, but Gvardiol still held his line, whereas Sitalo, who's in the middle, he dropped right off and was still playing him on.
Ralston for Doak, looking to get in behind Gvardiol again. Picks out Gilmore, and his little flick inside was just behind Kenny McLean. Sucic runs into trouble. Tommy Conway. Now Andy Robertson. And Gilmore takes over.
You can see Croatia have just dropped right off. Defensively compact.
Gilmore, what a pass for Robertson. He's got Conway in the middle. He just couldn't get it past Sitalo. Really good opening for Scotland. Well kept in there by Gilmore too.
A beautiful ball from Billy Gilmore there. As much as Croatia are dropped in, trying to be compact, you can see Gilmore finding a gap down the side for Andy Robertson.
Well, he's a player that's found his form in Serie A as well. He struggled to get into the Napoli side under Antonio Conte at the start, but he started the last 5 in a team that are sitting top of Serie A. Much of that has been down to his and Scott McTominay's form, who in particular has really lit up the domestic scene in Italy.
Well, I mean, look, it's no surprise for me that the two of them are over there doing so well, and it's no surprise that Gilmore's got himself on the side eventually. The guy is top class and be well suited to the style of play on the continent as well. And for McTominay, he brings something a little bit different. Real athleticism. Look at that ball there from Gilmore, beautiful. You get a good view of what Andy Robertson was trying to do there, try to thread it through the eye of a needle. Unfortunately, just got blocked out.
Andrej Kramaric comes short, but his pass was likewise. Gvardiol, though, does manage to find Serena up the line. It's neat passing, and they've got a man over here. The flag may go up, but for now, Croatia can motor forward and into the Scotland box looking for a shooting opportunity. It's Baturina and Modric, and well wide, and inevitably the flag now does go up.
Yeah, he was a mile offside. This ball down the line, comfortably offside. Got to keep the tempo high now. You know, in the early stages of the first half, it was more just about trying to contain Croatia and almost taking the sting out of it. We've now got to really try and push the game and dictate the speed and the tempo, playing quickly. You can see that Croatia are just going to not pressurise and press because they're a man down. We've got to try and keep that tempo high and stretch them.
Gilmore just trying to release Ryan Christie again, who'd come off his touchline.
What an opportunity we've got here at home to get a bit of a scalp, a marquee result, try and just inject a bit of optimism into the national team with a potential getting victory against Croatia and really keeping our hopes alive of that second spot in the table, as you were explaining before. It gives us the chance of getting the first seed in the World Cup qualifiers as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it is attainable, but just for Scotland. If they can get to second place, they'll certainly need to win these 2 remaining games. But second place would get you into the Nations League quarter-finals that are played in March and guarantee a top seed for the World Cup qualifiers. As things stand, it's highly likely that should Scotland not finish in second place, that they would be a third seed for those qualifiers. It's actually just the way the rankings work. It's harder to get into the second seed than it is the first seed at the moment for Scotland's scenario, but they can hopefully worry about that if they get a result that is required this evening. They would, to beat Croatia on the head-to-head, they would need to win by more than a goal this evening. As John Souttar just looks in a bit of pain. Just a correction from that first half in the incident that I thought that Luka Modric was booked. It was actually Andrej Kramaric that picked up the yellow card in that instance. Souttar gets there ahead of Baturina, and now chance for Ralston to go forward, searching out Doak, but it was well read by Gvardiol. He's certainly very aware of the danger around him, and that's a loose pass picked up by Christie. Gilmore, and now Doak is in behind. Ben Doak to square it, and maybe he should have taken that on because he hit it straight to Letatsar.
Well, that's what we were guilty of in the first half, a poor ball, the turnover, the gap that's getting exploited. He just doesn't catch it right. It comes off his heel and ended up going straight to the defender rather than sliding it in front of the on-rushing Conway. But you're right, I think he could have perhaps just taken an extra touch into the box himself, Rory.
Scotland pass up a big moment, but Christie now to deliver this corner towards McKenna. And won't come on the edge of the area for Ralston.
Yeah, well, big openings and big chances like that in these games against top opponents, they're not going to be presenting themselves too often, you would imagine. And I mean, there's such a gaping hole in defence, you would think that and hope that we would be able to drive through and create more of from it.
This crowd has been waiting for some big moments at Hampden Park. Haven't had a home victory here since that night against Georgia in June 2023. Kramaric, who will happily accept the corner.
I'd happily accept a finish at midnight if it was going to give us a victory, just like the Georgia game, Rory.
Luka Sucic, straight to Andy Robertson, a bit of a bizarre corner, and Doak is on his way. He's up against Modric if Andy Robertson can find him, and the ball is just too far ahead of the youngster.
Frustrating. Just wonder whether he needed to get it up in the air. I thought he could have just slipped it on the ground and just made it that foot race between Modric and Ben Doak.
McKenna now, Robertson, Gilmore, Robertson again, and Christie. Bit of movement above, comes from McTominay. Gilmore is one of the back posts, it's Doak. McLean and set up for Ralston, who drives him with power. Robertson just caught blindside. Scotland sensing a moment.
Well, it was certainly a good bit of pressure here. Wonderful ball from Billy Gilmore. He just couldn't get it angled from Ben Doak towards the middle. And in the end, you see Andy Robertson on the edge of the box, just getting dispossessed from Modric coming back in. And I wonder, John McGinn warming up there, whether he'll be making an appearance pretty soon.
He's such a mainstay of this side. We had a look just before kick-off, and we make this just the third competitive game under Steve Clarke that John McGinn has been on the bench. The first since Czech Republic away in 2020. That's given straight to Gilmore. Oh, and he had Doak on, and Gilmore went for it alone. Oh, it's another huge opportunity.
Well, it's another turnover. Poor play. Gilmore acres of space for Ben Doak. For somebody who normally, his vision in passing is impeccable. Can't quite believe he didn't see Ben Doak on the outside there. And as much as it builds a bit of momentum, there's huge levels of frustration with some of the chances that have just been passed up. But you've got to say, approaching the hour mark, this game is very much there for the taking for Scotland now. Got to look to perhaps just make a couple of attacking substitutions, I feel, as well. Bring an extra bit of energy, perhaps bring a little bit of a change. You can see Kenny McLean's a little bit advanced there, but maybe somebody with a wee bit more attacking prowess to play in that position.
Suter to Ben Doak again. Does seem to be the route for Scotland to find success down that right-hand side. Just hasn't quite worked out for them. McKenna for Andy Robertson, and now Christie. Keep ball exercise at the moment, but it's Scotland whose need is the greater in the group. John Suter and Scott McTominay unable to turn. Doak, Christie, neat touch from Christie, gets it out wide for McTominay, who tries to drive that in low again. Chaleta Tsar in the way.
Lovely footwork from Ryan Christie on the edge of the box. Eliminate a couple of players and found McTominay a wee bit of space, just that final ball.
There's a number of Scotland players just down there going through a rather rigorous warm-up. There's Baturina though for Croatia. Luka Sucic. Croatia will look to turn to one of their most experienced players, Ivan Perisic. Will be coming on shortly. Scotland making a change too, a double change. John McGinn and Lyndon Dykes to be joining the occasion shortly. Sucic. Ryan Gauld also to be coming on. That's deflected. And wide it goes, but there was a fair bit of anxiety around Hampden Park as that was struck by Baturina and came off Ralston and was dipping. Craig Gordon was always comfortable though.
But just a phase of play there for Croatia where they were dominating the ball, moving it about. that's shows the quality, even down to 10 men, that they can still retain possession and work an opening.
Well, before the changes can be made, Luka Modric will take this corner kick. His deliveries from the set plays, or certainly the corners, have not been up to his usual standard. Vardiol. Kovacic. And Modric.
Yeah, well, Croatia will be wanting Modric and Kovacic to just spend a bit more time on the ball and try and relieve a little bit of pressure, slow the game down and control it on their terms. Obviously, you couldn't look for two more capable players. Vastly experienced, lots of quality. Scotland's got to really go and hound them and put them under pressure. You can see Gilmour there right up on top of Kovacic. That's what we need to do.
Suter heads that straight to Gvardiol. Baturina. Modric. Kramaric, who is one of the two that will be coming off shortly. Kovacic. Sucic. Hounded by McLean, but Kovacic had the right idea to get away from him.
Yeah, I mean, it's good play from Kovacic, but it's exactly what Scotland need to do there from Kenny McLean. A lot of hard work, but put the hard yards in and close down that space. Don't give them any time.
It's Gvardiol. Sucic. Baturina to Kovacic. Some display of maintaining possession, this from Croatia. That's a lovely ball through as well. Baturina. Gvardiol waits. Gvardiol pulls the trigger, and again John Suter out to make the block. He's had an excellent night.
Yeah, he really has, but it's great play from Croatia. Down to 10 men, and they're pushing and probing, pulling Scotland apart and finding those gaps.
So Luka Sucic will go off. He'll be replaced by Ivan Perisic, the 35-year-old, winning his 139th cap, now with PSV Eindhoven. And a goal scorer here in that European Championships game. Also going off, Andrej Kramaric, replaced by Mario Pasalic, who had a host of chances recently for Atalanta against Celtic and Bergamo, failed to take any of them. Here's a player that can really ghost into the box, and he's straight on to try to get on the end of this Luka Modric corner. This time captain goes short, then loops round to get a bit of a different angle, and Kovacic's got that all wrong. And now Scotland can make their triple change. John McGinn, Ryan Gold, Lyndon Dykes all coming on. But in fact, to the annoyance of those waiting in the wings, Scotland got on with things quickly.
Well, it's three changes, obviously, with plenty of attacking intent, looking to go and try and secure these 3 points.
Well, the loose pass now does provide the opportunity. That'll be a frustrating one, but here's Ryan Gold coming on to replace Ryan Christie. Kenny McLean also goes off to be replaced by John McGinn. And the final change, a first start has come to an end for Tommy Conway, and he's replaced by Lyndon Dykes. Dykes now down playing in the third tier of English football with Birmingham City, having moved from Queen's Park Rangers over the summer, and he's been struggling for goals. But he does give a different approach, so he's often a big impact man for Steve Clarke. Just short of 50,000 inside Hampden Park. Desperate for the Scotland goal. Here's John McGinn, who's provided so many big moments for Scotland over the years. Gold now, Gold to the back post! And Ben Doak flashes that high and wide.
Good play from Scotland, working the angles here brilliantly. That link up between the three down the left. I think Ryan Gold was onside. That's a wonderful ball. I tell you what, that's a gilt-edged opportunity at the back post there for Ben Doak. Kotarski's taken out the game with the quality of the ball. He can't get there, and he's scrambling across his goal. The opening is there. Really does feel like we've had the opportunities here to try and get that much-needed first goal. John McGinn, instantly you see from that little bit more of an advanced position, running in behind the Croatian defence, opening things up.
Gilmore and McGinn did brilliantly. McTominay tries to thread it through. It was brilliantly done by Baturina to find Pasalic. Kovacic to the back post, it's missed by Robertson, and there's Ivan Perisic.
You say that, but I think he does just get a flick on it, Rory, that means Perisic has got to take a split second longer. The game's very much on the knife edge at this moment. That combination perhaps down this left-hand side with Ryan Gold, who's not going to be dropping the shoulder and blistering pace, but him dropping and John McGinn running in behind, it's going to cause a little bit more of a problem for Croatia down that right-hand side with Jakic and Sutalo. Just a wee bit more movement at the top as well.
Ralston, Doak. Scotland's main threat heads to the byline, drops the shoulder. Doak still going. The cut back. Gilmore. Oh, it's way over the top from Billy Gilmore. With 20 minutes to play, another chance comes Scotland's way.
Well, it's coming, isn't it? Great play from Ben Doak, attacking the byline and getting it back for Gilmore. He gets a perfect touch. First touch out his feet, set to go and get the strike. Disappointing. But Zlatko Dalic has definitely got a wee bit of a concern, particularly down that far side. Gvardiol facing up Ben Doak, and he knows that the youngster has got blistering pace. He just needs to keep going and committing, going and taking on the defence.
Gvardiol straight to Ralston. McTominay, back it comes to the Celtic right back.
Quick play, 1 and 2 touch, stretch the game side to side. You'll get those gaps for the likes of McTominay or McGinn running in behind if you extend the width as much as possible. Got to play with a bit of tempo and pace though as well.
Out wide it goes again for Doak.
Just leave, you see Ralston there, he ran into space. When that ball goes to Ben Doak, leave him. Let him go 1v1. Don't go and fill the space.
Now Robertson. Croatia, the 10 men sitting deep.
You want to try and work that ball out to the far side, but to get it so that it's 1v1s.
Scotland are going to have to be smart and use their patience here. John McGinn wins the corner. Comes off Josip Chitalo last.
That's good. Definitely brought a different aspect to the attack for Scotland in the last few minutes, with John McGinn just being a little bit more advanced.
Billy Gilmore goes short to Ryan Gauld. Back it comes to Gilmore. Free to enter the box, but it won't drop for a blue jersey. And now Croatia can break. Baturina, Pasalic over to the left-hand side. Well, he looks to then come right to Ivan Perisic.
Well, it's end to end. You can tell there's a few tired bodies here. Ben Doak not wanting to go and charge down the line, maybe just feeling the pace slightly.
McKenna, McGinn, who's brought a different edge to Scotland, tries to thread that through. Wasn't a million miles away from McTominay.
That was on. You know, just thinking if it was maybe a little bit less pace on it, McTominay maybe would have been able to step onto it. If he's hitting it with that pace, he's really got to find McTominay's feet. But a good drive and run into the space. He was actually offside anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. But yes, we've looked far more threatening with the substitutes having come on, John McGinn in particular. And he's somebody that is a real talisman for the national team, but he needs to try and rediscover that form, because when he's on the top of his game, it certainly elevates the side completely.
Here's Modric, it comes all the way through, and Pasalic fires wide. Croatia's big chance. It was an immaculate pass from Luka Modric. And Mario Pasalic, what a chance.
It's an incredible ball, inch perfect, and it makes it almost impossible for Anthony Ralston to be able to defend it as well. He's desperately just trying to get any sort of contact on it. That's a huge chance for Pasalic. He misses by a country mile as well. Maybe just Craig Gordon getting out quickly has managed to affect him.
There's Nikola Vlasic, former West Ham United and Everton player, now with Torino. And the man who scored here in that Euro 2020 game comes on, replacing Martin Baturina. Quarter of an hour left in Glasgow.
Great ball from John Souttar.
Souttar to Robertson, and Gauld can catch that, but the flag goes up. Much to Scotland's frustration.
Well, this will be very tight, almost as tight as the linesman's haircut. Yeah, just marginally there.
This is Gvardiol. Doak trying to get back to him, does so. The hunger shown from Ben Doak, the stamina as well to have kept going at that.
Great desire there from the youngster.
Gilmore.
He's on for a big switch.
Robertson, back it comes to Billy Gilmore. Now McKenna, and Souttar can step in. John McGinn. Andy Robertson. Somebody have a big moment in them for Scotland.
Well, I just feel like the two areas we can look to really exploit is John McGinn up in that pocket of space.
Great turn from McGinn, shields it well too. Gold steps in and looks to thread it through, but Dyke's not quite on the same wavelength.
Not sure what's happened here, whether it's eventually the goalkeeper that comes out and makes contact. You see John McGinn just shaking off Luka Modric there. Oh, I mean, seriously. Gilletta Sarr, he's gone down there as if he's been seriously injured off Lyndon Dykes just barely touching him.
Chutalo and Jakic. Modric with the long ball. It should be Scott McKenna's. Perisic closing down, but Gold with a chance to turn, and now looks to pick out Ryan Gold. Takes it down. His first touch was brilliant. The second took Modric out of the game. Now McTominay. Is it on for Scotland here? Andy Robertson. And it's lofted over the top again. It's the killer ball in that final third that is letting Scotland down.
Well, Ryan Gold does incredibly well. Nutmeg on Modric first and then wins the tackle with Jakic, but just loses a little bit of momentum here. Disappointing. Andy Robertson just not getting his foot wrapped round it.
He's looking for that ball to Doak as well, isn't he? Like he's found before. Well, Ryan Gold really adding to this Scotland performance. He's been full of goals and assists for Vancouver Whitecaps.
There's John Souttar again. Brilliant, brilliant play. Pasalic was just looking as if he was going to get on the inside of him.
As Ralston, Gold this time couldn't take it in his stride. It was over the top of Jakic, but it had some zip on it. And now Jakic goes down, Christian Jakic, the latest of that back four to suffer an injury.
You can see he's already got the tape on his knee there, but not too sure how he's all of a sudden found himself poleaxed on the ground.
Well, he's not going to be able to continue. That's the message from Luka Modric. Just on the goal difference, or the aspect of things with the table, why Scotland would likely need to win by more than one if they are to pass Croatia in this table, is because Scotland can only get to 7 points, which is what Croatia are already on. So if it was just a 1-0 win, they would be level on head-to-head, and then it would go to goal difference, of which Croatia's currently is superior.
Oh, I think we're venturing into the territory that would settle 1-0 at the moment.
Will be Marco Piazza, another Dinamo Zagreb player, who will come on for Christian Jakic. He's more of an attacking player, so I wonder if that will mean that Ivan Perisic drops back to right back, which he played as a right wing back in Zagreb, the 35-year-old.
Yeah, and clearly it wasn't a position that he was overly comfortable with, but yeah, it's far from ideal for Croatia. Jakic going off. I said at half-time, we just felt as if there was an opportunity that we couldn't let pass us by. We've got roughly 10 minutes or so to make sure it doesn't happen. We've had the We've had the chances. We've really had the chances so far.
Well, there's somebody that provided a good few magic moments for Scotland, James McFadden. So there is the change, and Christian Jakic going off on the stretcher to be replaced by Marco Piazza. Stuart Armstrong could be joining us shortly, another player now playing in the MLS with Vancouver Whitecaps. No danger from Vlasic's ball across, so Gilmore can take over.
Could John McGinn just sneak off the back of Modric and go and exploit Perisic at right back? You feel there could be an opportunity there.
McTominay, it was a bit of a risky pass into Ralston, but it was well dealt with between the two. McKenna wanting some more movement ahead of him.
Well, he could pass the ball into John McGinn's feet. We've got to keep the ball, yes, but we've got to still try and play the ball forward, even if it's just bouncing it.
Doak. Just had a bit of a quieter last few minutes, perhaps conserving some energy for the final 7 minutes at Hampden Park. Gold, all options forward, blocked off for now. Ralston, that's well behind Ben Doak.
Just his first touch got away from him. And he was all off balance as he was trying to spin that ball out to Ben Doak.
Kovacic, tussle that he won with McGinn, that's gone out from Marco Piazza.
Great strength, great composure. Kovacic under real pressure.
Here's Doak. Anticipation from the Tartan Army when he gets it. Looks to go to the byline to beat Gvardiol. Good save from the goalkeeper who palms it out. Well, Doak again, the inspiration for another Scotland attack.
No, without trying to oversimplify it, just give him the ball, go and hit the byline. He's got the beating of Gvardiol, he's had the beating of him all night.
There's been a flood of goals for Portugal in the last 20 minutes. They're now 4-0 up on Poland. Leao, Ronaldo, Fernandes and Neto all finding the net, so they're doing their bit for the Scotland cause. Doak wants another go at Gvardiol. Gets it across again, the goalkeeper. Now McGinn, if he can keep it down! He certainly can! John McGinn with another monumental moment in the blue of Scotland. Boy, how they've had to wait for that. And John McGinn left out of the starting lineup with a point to prove. And boy, has he just proven it.
What a goal! The big moment comes and John McGinn steps up, but it's Ben Doak. Look at the pressure he puts on Gvardiol again. And into the bottom corner, John McGinn. But there you go, Ben Doak step over, hit the byline. Gvardiol can't handle it. Katarski not with a great clearance, and John McGinn steps up. Good composure and finds the back of the net. Keeps it down. You see here, comes off the studs of Chaleta Sarr. And into the corner, and what a huge goal for Scotland. With only a few minutes left, getting their noses in front and living to fight another day in this Nations League.
I'll tell you what, at 90 million euro, Josko Gvardiol, he is going to be having nightmares about 19-year-old Ben Doak.
It was the same in Zagreb, Rory. You just feel like it's happened eventually, but that was the key to unlocking this defence. Keep feeding Ben Doak the ball. And John McGinn, you got a sense, not starting the game, he's not come up with a big moment for Scotland for a while, but he came on and he instantly made an impact, and here he is again. That's not a free kick, ref, not a free kick. Came on and he operated in an area of the park that you could see had the potential to really hurt Croatia.
John McGinn's 19th international goal goes level with the great Ali McCoist.
Super Ali and Super John.
There's Luka Modric with the ball in again. The first man gets the touch, and Andy Robertson, and now could be on. Andy Robertson looking for Scott McTominay. Kovacic is in trouble, but McTominay couldn't quite take it with him.
Lyndon Dykes a power of work to get up and just even keep the ball down the far end of the park. It looked as if Scott McTominay was going to get in behind Kovacic there. But you've got to say, the first 15-20 minutes was very shaky for Scotland, but as the game has progressed, there's moments that have gone our way, and it looks like we have been able to capitalise on it. Something that hasn't happened in this campaign so far, with better performances. Better late than never though, Rory. This is not easy because he's stretching there to keep that down. As it's coming out to him, huge moment from John McGinn and for the country as a whole, and look at the supporters over the moon.
John McGinn's first goal for his country since November last year, the 3-3 draw with Norway. Forward it goes from Gilmour. Tough one for Dykes to deal with. Piazza and Ralston together. That's given away though by Gilmour. Kovacic will continue his run. Piazza. Kovacic. 15 seconds of normal time remaining. Luka Modric to Mateo Kovacic. Modric again. Now Perisic. There will be 5 additional minutes. In from Perisic. Doak away. We understand he'll be coming off shortly for Stuart Armstrong. Piazza and Gvardiol. Pasalic. Kovacic. Looks to loft that one through, and well left by McKenna. Now Scotland can get going up the other end. They're desperate to get this head-to-head in their favour against Croatia and give themselves a real fighting chance on Monday night.
I wonder whether Ryan Gold realises that, you know, understandably just looking to try to keep possession there, but the captain was bombing round the side of him and they had the space to continue to attack down the line.
McTominay to move into space. He's got runners. Gold was one of them. I think he may have been offside in any case. Goes out from Gvardiol, who's had a tough night on the left-hand side. Stuart Armstrong into the action for the final moments. And just as Stuart Armstrong comes on, who is your man of the match this evening, Michael?
Well, that young man is just about to take a round of applause from the crowd. Ben Dock has been the difference, Rory. As much as he's been wasteful at times, he's come up with some big moments, and none more so than leaving Gvardiol for dead, fizzing it across the face, and John McGinn getting the goal. Quite fitting that his last piece of play was pressurising Gvardiol to put the ball out the park. He's caused him all sorts of nightmares tonight. Ben Dock, man of the match.
Stuart Armstrong on for his first involvement with Scotland since the game against Hungary in the Euros. Three minutes of additional time to go.
Well, just like the opening stages of the game, it needs full concentration from the side, especially that defensive unit. Inevitably are going to come under a little bit of pressure here as Croatia go chasing.
Armstrong now with some defending to do, but the cross does come in, and I think it maybe came off Robertson last, but safely into the arms of Gordon. A sigh of relief around Hampden Park.
Well, the captain can say it was meant. Nice wee chest control back to, or off the hip, back to the goalkeeper. Good composure from Andy Robertson there.
Gilmore. McTominay can't turn away from Gvardiol. Used to be rivals across the city of Manchester. Modric. Piazza. Ralston for company. Comes back to Gvardiol. Luka Modric now. Robertson is there to head away, and Gilmore to send it further.
Good defending from Andy Robertson there. Could just read where Luka Modric was wanting to drop the ball in.
Chaleta-Tsar. Now Kovacic. This is a Croatia side sitting 12th in the FIFA World Rankings. Scotland down in 51st. And it comes from Perisic. It's there for Gordon, but he couldn't get through the bodies, and McKenna actually heads it into a very good area from where he was.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, but Scott McKenna did really well. You're right, Rory.
Oh, somebody's ready to celebrate.
No nerves there.
Ivan Perisic. Is there to be one last chance for Croatia? Missed control from Chulato. He has to go all the way back to Kotarski. Modric. Final seconds of the game. Can Scotland get this victory? Here goes McTominay. Oh, goalkeeper was off his line. Armstrong continuing his run. Down goes McTominay. Scotland win the free kick. That will eat up the final seconds that do see Scotland to victory for sure now.
A victory that was so much desperately needed. Looks to be about to happen.
There it is. The long, long wait is over. The winless run comes to an end for Scotland and Steve Clarke. Super John McGinn off the bench with a vital contribution